Okay, welcome everyone. This is our second of a recurring series of public meetings for the SWM Main Project, or what we're calling the SWM Project. This is our October meeting, and our September meeting is actually up on the website as well, and this will also be posted on the website. So, and going forward, we're looking to try to have monthly meetings to help update everyone, let them know what's going on. My name is Will. I work for CLTWater, and this is, of course, a City of Charlotte / CLTWater project that's happening on South Boulevard right now. Some quick housekeeping. Cam Coley is going to be our meeting moderator. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat. If I happen to see those during the presentation, I might go ahead and answer them on the spot. So feel free to ask questions during the actual presentation. As I mentioned, this presentation will eventually get posted to the Charlotte SWM website, charlotteswim.com. And then if you're looking to get a little bit more involved, or just to have more routine, faster updates about what's going on, you can go ahead and text SWM to 31996, and you'll be added to our text messaging list to get updates. Okay, a quick overview about what we're going to talk about today. So we're just going to review what's been going on the past 30 days, and then we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit throughout what you should expect in the future. We had a couple questions come in that seem like they'd be commonly thought about questions. We're going to go ahead and answer those. And then if you have any other questions that you want to post in the chat box during this meeting, we'll look at answering those or get back to you. And then lastly, we'll have some more information about how you can get in touch and stay in touch and keep abreast of what's going on in terms of this project. So if you've been on South Boulevard in the past month or two, specifically between Scaleybark and Clinton, and you've been traveling northward, then this is what you've seen. We have fully mobilized into the area. So the barrier wall is sort of the big thing that we were trying to warn everyone about. And so that's what you'll see now. We have one lane northbound closed off. That's where the new 24-inch water main is going to actually go. You can see it's the big black piping. So in the left picture, this is looking southward. You can see the big piping sitting there next to the trench in between the light rail station and the barrier wall. And so the first thing that happens is the barrier wall gets put up just for safety purposes to keep our construction workers inside the zone safe from cars that are driving by. And then secondarily, after that's all ready to go, what happens is what's called milling. And that's where basically there's this big machine that comes through and essentially grinds off the top layer of asphalt. And then it makes multiple passes until it has completely ground away all the existing asphalt. And actually, an interesting thing about what those are called millings at that point, you can take asphalt millings and reuse them. So a lot of those millings have been taken off site and temporarily stored until we come back and remix them in with new asphalt when we pave over. So if you look at the picture on the right there, that's actually looking northbound. You can see that's what it sort of looks like after all the milling is done before we actually do any digging. This is just another little bit further along picture. So you can see the excavator there in the picture on the left. This is looking southbound. The excavator is there. That's where the pipe's going to go, roughly where that bucket's sitting on the ground. He's going to dig a trench, and then they're going to move each of these sections of pipe, the big black things there. That's a ductile iron pipe. They're going to move each of those sections of pipe into the trench they dig. They essentially will bring us a delivery of a certain number of pieces of pipe over and set them next to the trench, have everything ready so that they can then dig, put a piece of pipe in, fill back over it, and then put the next piece of pipe in and move down. So the picture on the right there, I just want to point this out as well. That's the excavator. This is looking north. You can see AutoZone. The Carvana's up there. That's Whitten Road at the stoplight. This contraption that's behind the excavator is called a trench box. So what's going to happen is that will actually get tilted. It's on its side right now. It'll get tilted upright, and then it'll get put down in the trench that allows construction workers to actually be down below the ground surface, working in a trench safely without having to worry about the walls of the trench collapsing down onto one of our workers. Safety is a big priority for us at CLTWater, and so all of our contractors will use trench boxes when they're working under the ground. So if you're wondering where exactly we are in terms of progress and where we're putting pipe in the ground, finding out or looking where the trench box is as you're driving by, that's a good way to know how far along the progress has been made. So follow that trench box and you'll see where we are. So for the next 30 to 90 days, right now we've sort of worked our pipe from Scaleybark up to Whitten there, and we're going to go ahead and proceed now, hopefully from Whitten to Hollis. We made a connection under South Boulevard, down Whitten over there towards the auto zone. That seems like it's wrapping up this week or next week, and then we'll continue to move northward. This is what we're calling, this is actually our phase 2. So if all goes well, we'll be getting up there close to Hollis and close to past Clanton in the next 30 to 90 days. We will probably then drop back and do our phase 1, which is actually the tie-in at the existing 30-inch water main. So it's a very large water main that essentially runs from South Tryon down Freeland, and then it crosses over South Boulevard and then kind of runs down Scaleybark, and that goes all the way down to Woodlawn, where it's a very large water main that sort of goes across that way, and we're going to connect into that. So that's going to hopefully occur. We had some issues to resolve. We think we've gotten resolved. And then lastly, new service connections will start to happen once we get enough pipe in the ground and we get the valves as well. We're working basically between valve sections. And then once we get the valves in and installed and working, then we can actually close off the section of pipe that we just put in. And at that point, we can then put water in the pipe, ensure that water's clean. We'll do a bunch of testing to make sure that water's good to go. And then at that point, we'll start connecting businesses to that new water main, which we're installing. So we should start having some new connections happen over the next 30 to 90 days. So that's fairly exciting. So we had a couple questions that have come up now that we've actually started working. Obviously the biggest questions are going to be around sort of traffic and how much longer will this be a disruption. So, when are we going to be up above Clanton? So that's essentially like when will phase 2 be wrapped up? We're hoping to be close to being done with phase 2, probably the next 30 to 60 days, probably closer to 60 days. The rain has been coming in a little bit heavier than lately, and so that's been causing some delays. When it rains, those trenches essentially fill up and become big swimming pools. So that's an issue we're having to resolve right now. We're hoping to do our phase 1 work, or start our phase 1 work in the next 30 days. That will be the tie-in, as I mentioned, back down at Scaleybark. And then we're hoping to start this phase 3 work probably sometime after the first of next year, early 2021, to really start phase 3, and that will be north of Clanton. So to answer the question, when will we be up past Clanton or sort of in our phase 3, we're looking at sometime in, essentially like February, March-ish timeframe, to be conservative. We've had some people contact us about their businesses and about losing water, and are we going to be shutting off people's water? And the answer to that is that at some point we do need to transfer the current water service of the businesses over to the new water line. And so we'll be reaching out to schedule that work to make sure that we can have as little impact to your business as possible. But at some point there will have to be some brief outage. It may have to be at night or outside business hours. We're willing to work with businesses on that. So just look for communication from us in the next 30 to 60 days about that. If you haven't heard from anyone, and you're getting nervous about it, feel free to, again, reach out to me. There will be some more information about contacts on the next few slides here. Oh, so here's that slide. This is all the different ways you can sort of be in touch or get information. This info@charlotteswim.com, it's the largest font on this slide. It's the best way to get in touch with the project team. There's multiple people that are monitoring that email address. So that's your best bet is to save that email address in your Outlook inbox or whatever, and use that to get in touch with the project team if you have questions about what's going on. I mentioned at the beginning, you can also text SWM Water to 31996, and that will be a way that you can receive information from us, especially like about when these meetings are going to happen going forward. And then lastly, the project website is just a really great way to keep up with what is going on in the project. So feel free to visit that frequently. This video will get posted up there eventually. Our last month video is up there now. And then going forward, there will hopefully be a bunch of other information on there as well, so you can catch up or forward on to people who might have questions. Are there any other new questions? I don't see anything in the chat box right now. So if you have a question, now's the time to put it in the chat box. Cam, I presume no one has messaged you. And if you have a question later, again, you can feel free to email it. Cam, you're good though? I'm going to assume silence is acceptance.
Yes, I haven't heard of anything else. So last call for the chat backs, and then we can end the recording.
So one more slide about how you can get in touch with us. Again, my name is Will. I'm on the far left there. That's my cell phone number and my email address. So you can email me if you want. Like I said before, though, the best way is to info@charlotteswm.com. That actually forwards an email to my inbox as well, as long as Keith's and as long as some other people on the project team. So that's definitely the best preferred method for communication. And then also our on-site inspector is Keith Hunter. He's on this call as well. But that's his phone number and that's his email address as well. So if you see any issues, or he's also basically our business liaison. So if you're a business and you have questions, he's a good person to reach out to as well. But again, this info@charlotteswm.com is the best way to get in touch with the project team. And I believe that's our last slide. Again, my name is Will. This is the Charlotte Water City Charlotte project. And thank you all for your time. Hope you have a good rest of your Thursday.